Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We've got with us today Sam Hastings. The more avid amongst you will remember we interviewed him last at Business Startup in May. Sam, it's lovely to have you back.
Lovely to be here.
Okay, so Sam, last time we caught up, as I said, Business Startup Show in May, we were talking about your import and exporting of Scotch eggs, and you've gone on to revolutionise it further by adding fillings into the casings. Can you explain a bit more about that, please? It sounds fascinating.
Well, yes, it's been a very tough and busy few months, but I think it's starting to pay off now. We have indeed been experimenting with different fillings for Scotch eggs. For example, I don't know if you've tried this before, you cut a Scotch egg in half, remove the egg temporarily, and in the casing you put a condiment of your choice and replace the egg. We've been remaking these for people to save people a hassle. Obviously, if you're going on a bus or something and you want a Scotch egg, you don't have the facilities to cut one open, you don't want to buy a whole bottle of sauce to put in, so we're making those for people. At the moment we've got a few which we're currently trialling in the west of England. We've got the barbecue sauce and the mayonnaise one. In the north of England we're trialling brown sauce, and in Scotland we're just putting lard in them.
So it's not dissimilar to jelly being injected into a pork pie, maybe?
No, it's completely different to that. We're not doing any deals at the moment. We're just going down the local Asda, buying a few bottles of each, filling them. It's quite a lo-fi technique. I mean, the actual technique itself, we can't divulge too much about it because, of course, it's a trade secret of ours. But it essentially involves making a small hole in the casing of the egg, and using a special injection technique to actually put the sauce inside without having to remove the egg or break the shell.
So how's the product been faring with the market? I mean, what's the response been like?
Consumer uptake, consumer feedback has all been overwhelmingly positive. We've had this product on trial, as I said, in the west and the north of England and in Scotland, and we've had it put out in supermarkets. They've been giving them out free samples. They've been throwing them off the top of open-top buses at passers-by in the street, and people have really gone for them. They like them.
Okay, so how do you test the product? I mean, what is actually done to the egg to test it before it's ready for the market?
To test the product, we first of all start with the people that know what they're talking about. So we get key players in the Scotch egg industry to come down and test the product themselves. We film it. We use the footage afterwards for our own purposes. We had Katie Moore and John Spackman come down to our headquarters not so long ago. Really they were just testing the sort of durability, the toughness of the egg, whether it can withstand, I suppose you could say, harsh conditions.
Oh, so John Spackman, he's the guy that famously worked for Ginsters, correct?
Yes, that's correct. He was business development manager there for a period of about 7 years. Moved on to start his own company with his business partner and partner, Katie Moore.
We've touched upon it. I'm going to have to ask. It's been all over the press. Your competition with Ginsters, it's got a little heated, and you've been quoted as, I believe, saying, "Why don't you go and suck your dad's dick?" to the Ginsters MD. Are you happy to talk about that?
It's not something I can comment specifically on. I can give you the basics. Comments were made by me. He retaliated with a fairly offensive remark, I think. It was along the lines of he wouldn't want to do that because the taste resembles that of my rear end.
Okay, so you've got fillings now. What's next for the Scotch egg?
It's hard to tell what the future holds in store for the egg because it's such a constantly evolving industry. What might seem like a good idea now, 6 months down the line, may turn into a complete failure. It's really not my position to say.
So finally, final question comes from the audience. We did a poll, and the question that they decided they would most like me to ask you, overwhelming response actually, is: have you ever inserted a Scotch egg into your anus?
Well, this takes me back to the point I was making earlier about product testing. This is one of the stages that we go through. We test it with different eggs, different sizes of egg. Obviously, you've got the mini savoury snack eggs, which have the right size but not the right consistency, because inside you don't have a full solid hard-boiled egg. You've got sort of something which is essentially scrambled egg. So when inserted, they do tend to sort of implode.
Well, Sam, it's been lovely to catch up with you again. Hopefully next time we'll see the next step in the Scotch egg saga. Until then, thank you very much.
Thank you.